Happy Hanukkah from the Big Salad. Welcome us, George.
If it was a regular salad, I wouldn't have said anything. But you had to have that big salad.
And here's your co-host and producer, Ryan Klinger.
Hey, thank you. I'm enjoying all these holiday episodes. I'm getting thrown to, and I seem to be catching it, so that's always good.
That's always good.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. Just want to say Hag Sameach, which is Hebrew for Happy Festival for all our Jewish listeners out there for Hanukkah. It's the third day of Hanukkah. If you did not know this fun fact, I might have mentioned in the last episode as well, that in the Jewish religion, that days start at sunset and not at sunrise. So that's why we're entering the third night of Hanukkah as we speak.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
It is interesting. I'd like to learn more about the Jewish faith when I have in my spare time, but I gotta get some spare time. So, all right. Lots to cover here today.
All right.
Yes, featuring. We'll skip the part of your Panthers and my Steelers getting beat down.
Yeah,
but
I think mine's actually more embarrassing because at least the Bengals are a respectable team. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
It's bad.
I have no respect there's little respect for my team right now, but
at least my team's like young, right, and developing.
Well, not Cam Newton though. He's done.
No, we're gonna probably draft Carson Strong or
somebody. Maybe.
Hopefully not Sam Howell. Don't
Sam
draft quarterbacks from basketball schools. Doesn't work, Daniel Jones. Just saying.
Well, that's possible.
The only one that worked was Troy Aikman.
He went to where?
UCLA.
Okay.
Just like Johnny Juzang.
Well, we're going to talk about today the biggest free agency moves in the MLB up to this point. Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly heading to new destinations, and should the Big Ten realign its divisions because of football competitive? So we begin today with Michigan's big win over Ohio State this past Saturday, 42-27 in Ann Arbor in the snow as well. And I was facing the snow a little more north there in East Lansing for the Penn State game in person, so I know what those conditions felt like there in the state of Michigan. But Hassan Haskins had him a game, almost 200 yards rushing.
He was insane.
5 touchdowns for the Michigan running back, McNamara. He didn't have to do much behind the line of scrimmage because of that. And the Michigan defense held Ohio State in check. So what do you make of Michigan's win over Ohio State for Jim Harbaugh?
Well, I want to make a quick aside. Tonight, 9:30, and we're recording this on Tuesday. We usually do Monday. We had to do Tuesday.
We're talking about the Big Ten ACC Challenge, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. We got Duke, Ohio State. Now, granted, I think Duke's going to win because Paulo Banchero right now is making...
I don't know how Duke's only favored by 2 points in that game, if you want to tell me that. But go ahead.
Well, it's because Ohio State's got my favorite player in college basketball, Michie Johnson. Michie Johnson, game winner, shooter, Michie Johnson. He's great. I loved him last year, and now he's really coming into his big role his sophomore year. Love Michie Johnson. I love what Holtman's been doing with him. I really like Michie. But point is, regardless of my Michie Johnson
and
love,
I just want to say that the Big Ten is up 2-0 after last night. Go ahead.
Yep. Big Ten is
challenge 4 times.
Big Ten is the best basketball conference right now. The ACC is second. But I do think
the ACC got better is because they took in all the good Big East teams. So
yep. And I'm thinking, to me, I think Duke probably is the best team in basketball from a talent perspective. Granted, usually those teams at the tournament don't win the championship. It's teams like the Fab Five or the Zion Williamson Duke teams might have all the
Fab Five had all those wins vacated. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. And I'm saying they usually get close, especially like the Zion Williamson team did, and then a team that's more team based, like Michigan State did, beats them, or Duke, with the Fab Five.
Right.
So I'm saying usually the talent teams with all these NBA talents get really far, but they don't end up winning the national title. Usually it's a team that's more team-based, like Virginia or Villanova or one of those guys. So, but I do think Paulo Banchero right now, I'm going to be doing my own podcast soon and discussing that I think he's probably he's as good of a prospect for the NBA as Chet Holmgren. And, if he went to the Magic, turns the whole franchise around, he's incredible. Paulo Banchero, he's like Ben Simmons with a jumper, which is insane. So, he's great.
Ben Simmons needs a jumper.
Ben Simmons needs to jump on the court.
Yeah, he's not doing that.
Yeah, he's not doing that anytime soon. But yeah, back to what you asked me originally.
Correction, real quick. ACC Big Ten Challenge overall record: ACC favored 12, 7, and 3. Now, the first 10 challenges, the ACC won all 10 of them. So since the last 12 challenges they've had, the Big Ten's won 7, 2, and 3, which is a pretty good return rate. Mm-hmm. But back to you about Harbaugh in Michigan.
So Harbaugh, I think this definitely. I mean, they didn't fire him before, and it finally seems like it must have paid off for not firing him all these years. The Michigan fans have cried out, fire him, and I'm not sure though because they
couldn't beat Michigan State and Ohio State in the same season.
Exactly, and they didn't. They got a new DC, I think, right? They had a new defensive coordinator.
Yes, they did.
And we all know Aiden Hutchinson, which showed his NFL draft stock just jumped probably a whole round. I mean, he went from being a late first round guy to maybe a top 10 guy based off that one game.
We're saying either overall or second.
Wow. Yeah, like I'm saying his NFL.
I think they're really depending on where the Lions are at because they're thinking
if you perform well in a rivalry game like that, boom, immediate stock up. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying Hutchinson looked like a Heisman candidate, and I mean this year's Heisman is
wide open.
It's wide open. You
got him,
Walker,
K9,
yep,
Stroud, Bryce Young.
And Kenny Pickett.
I mean, it's just wide open.
I'm worried it's going to be Young because he's been the most consistent. But he's never had that one blowout breakthrough game really.
No, he hasn't.
But I mean Hutchinson,
Mexico State.
Yeah, but it's yeah, come on. So but Hutchinson, I mean, that was a Heisman performance, and it's like I talked to my buddies the other day. I'm like, if Joe Burrow doesn't exist, Chase Young wins Heisman that year. You know what I mean? I'm saying there's been great defensive players who are this close, and I'm like, maybe in a wide open year.
Charles Woodson, correct?
Yep. And maybe in a wide open year, Aiden Hutchinson has a chance to win Defensive Player Heisman. So I'd love to see it. But I do think this is a big move because, you and I had talked last week about how Ohio State isn't the best team in college football and it was going to fall apart probably eventually. And neither of us had the balls to take them losing to Michigan, which I do think most people wouldn't have expected that. Mm-hmm. But you knew this wake-up call was going to happen eventually. Ohio State's a young team with a not very good defense and a freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback. Right?
Redshirt.
He's redshirt? Okay. Or the redshirt freshman. Exactly.
Shirt.
So, I mean, a redshirt freshman quarterback. Here's the thing that's weird, though, is that their wide receiver core is a lot of seniors. Smith and Jigba, Olave, those guys are all getting drafted. So, their next best national championship level team is Stroud's junior year. Because he's probably going to, his sophomore year, I don't think they're going to be.
A minor rebuild.
Yep. I think it'll be worse than this year. And then his junior year, that'll be their.
That is worse from this year.
What do you mean?
Okay, Ohio State still went 10-2. Did he say 9-3?
I'm saying 10-2 again, okay. But I'm saying they'll probably be about here next year. I don't think they're going to improve, is what I should say. I don't think they're going to get a lot better next year. Are you looking up what their recruiting class is?
Nope.
Oh, okay. But I don't think they're going to get a ton better next year. I did see they got some 5-star linebacker or something that recruited.
They're always got 5 stars left and right.
Yep. But I'm saying this is a big statement for Michigan. They finally got the win after an 8-game losing streak, and I think that's a good look for Harbaugh and that entire Michigan thing. And here's the thing: Michigan might be in the playoff, but we're going to discuss that more. I mean, in a bit, right? Don't we have the playoff on here?
Yes, we do.
That's what I thought.
Well, we have. Well, yes. Somewhat.
Yeah, I see it.
Somewhat that way.
But that'll devolve into the big playoff talk anyway.
Possible.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you want to say?
Okay, so next year Ohio State's schedule. This is for football. All right, next fall they open up against Notre Dame.
Oh, that's fun.
That'll be good.
That'll be a good one. New Notre Dame coach.
They got whoever it's going to be. They might be down there.
You and I should apply.
Arkansas State, Toledo. They start out 3 games at home. Then their next 2 games are back-to-back away. Sparty, Penn State.
Woo!
Then Rutgers, Iowa at home. 3 games at home again. Rutgers, Iowa, Indiana. Then at Northwestern, home against Wisconsin. At Maryland, home against Michigan.
That's a tough schedule.
They got a tougher crossover schedule next year.
That's tough. I mean, Wisconsin and Iowa aren't going to be any slouch next year. I mean,
no.
Wisconsin, I'm expecting more of a bounce back.
Yeah, I might have to. I better get me some tickets to that Michigan State Ohio State game in East Lansing.
That would be a good one.
I'm gonna have to work on that, but anyway, back. Yes, are you?
I'm still going. I got a little bit.
Okay.
I'm saying I think Michigan. This is a big statement win for them, and honestly, I think they got a shot to be in the national title, depending on how this bracket shakes out. Mm-hmm. Because as long as Alabama loses to Georgia, like I think they will,
roll Tide, baby.
You want Alabama to beat them?
No.
Oh, okay, I was about to say. Okay, yeah, I got you. I'll make sure. So as long as Georgia beats Alabama like they should and probably will, it'll be 1 Georgia, 2 Michigan, 3 Cincinnati, for Notre Dame or Oklahoma State. And I think it should be Oklahoma State if Oklahoma State beats Baylor. And so I would love to see the Cowboys be in it. So never thought I'd say I like to see the Cowboys in anything, but you know what I mean.
How about the Cowboys, baby?
Wrong Cowboys, yeah. The one Cowboys I'm cool with. The other ones I hate, so, you know. Georgia Cowboys, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, would be a fun game, but Georgia probably wins that. And then Michigan, Cincinnati, I feel like will be a great game. Hood Classic, potentially. And then I do think Georgia's probably the national champion, but a team like, Michigan's defense looked really good, and their running game, if their running game can work, because it's not like Georgia's offense is incredible. I don't know what really.
Right.
I'm saying if Michigan's defense holds up and Hutchinson plays well, then maybe Michigan has a chance. The thing is, watch this. Michigan's going to freaking crap themselves and lose to Wisconsin and then ruin the Big Ten's chances. Iowa, sorry, as I meant to say, yeah. I knew it was a West team. I forgot who it was. Yeah, but I'd like to see Michigan be the representative for the Big Ten because if they don't win the Big Ten championship, then the Big Ten's not going to have a representative, and that sucks.
Right.
So, if you're a Big Ten person right now, you kind of have to root for Michigan because, you want to see a Big Ten representative in there.
Yes, I agree.
And I think Cincinnati does have a good chance to beat them, too. I think that Michigan-Cincinnati game will be a good, close game, and I'm excited for that one. If that's how it shakes out, but that'll be great.
Yeah, I think, there's a lot there. Hold on. While I'm thinking about things, I need to... Never mind. Okay. I'm interested to see. Obviously, we got the rankings tonight. We're going to talk about those yet. We're going to talk about those up in a few minutes about what the rankings are. But to think about it, right now, this is Jim Harbaugh's signature win
of his
Ohio
career.
State. Right now at Michigan.
Yeah, it's
over
Michigan
Ohio
career.
State. This is his signature
This
win.
is the best thing he's done since being in the Super Bowl.
Yes, but does it mean anything? No, not yet. He's got to win the Big Ten first, and he can blow it to Iowa because what is Iowa?
Defense.
Yes, and it's rushing defense, and it's way better than Ohio State's rushing defense.
And we knew
so
that.
That is where Michigan can stumble. I'm going to say, obviously, what they can capitalize on is the poor quarterback play of Iowa.
I forget what their guy's name is. He's not good at all.
It's not Petrus anymore because he's now the backup. So, but the good thing Michigan does have is Cade McNamara, and he's shown that he can throw the ball well. Threw it against my Spartans very well. Went for a career day then, over 350 yards and a couple touchdowns there. That's going to be the X factor in the Big Ten championship. But then he can blow it, and the Big Ten's out of the playoff.
I would hate that.
And there goes Notre Dame waltzing right in. So,
and I don't think, and I usually like, to see Notre Dame do well because they're, pretty classic team. It's kind of fun to have them in there, but I don't think they deserve it this year. I don't think this team is really
It's a quiet team.
Yeah, it's a quiet team.
Quiet team.
It's not an exciting team, and in general, I think they're just going to whimper out to Georgia, so that's not any fun.
Whimper out to Georgia. That.
Worst case scenario is Georgia. Well, here's what worst case scenario is: Michigan loses. And then Baylor beats Oklahoma State, and Alabama beats Georgia. And then it's like Georgia, Bama, Cincinnati, Notre Dame. That's not fun at all because Alabama beats Cincinnati.
If Alabama beats Georgia in this scenario, correct?
Yeah, so it's 1 Georgia, 2 Alabama.
No.
You think it's 1 Alabama, 2 Georgia? Probably.
Now you're making me think. Alabama's 3 right now, so yes. So it'd be Alabama 1.
Georgia 2.
No.
Oh, Cincinnati 2? They're not going to do that. They'd never.
Yes.
Okay.
They are.
Cincinnati 2, Georgia 3.
Notre Dame 4.
Yeah, and then we just get Georgia.
If the Cowboys lose, the Cowboys have to lose. If the Cowboys win, the Cowboys might be 3. They might be 3. They might do a Georgia-Alabama rematch.
That's fine, because then we can get Oklahoma State or Cincinnati in the national title. But I'm worried. I'm terrified of just getting Bama-Georgia. After this crazy college football season that's had all this wacky stuff happen, and then we end with a Georgia-Bama national title, which I could have told you on freaking August 20th what that would have been the national title game. If we get something weird like Michigan-Georgia or Cincinnati-Georgia, or even we get real wild and it's Oklahoma State-Michigan, well, that's crazy fun.
That's crazy fun.
I want something weird. I want something new. I want something fresh.
I think.
I want 8 teams.
conference winners,
3
Group
wild
5,
cards.
and 2 wild cards.
I'm fine with 3 wild cards.
No,
if
you
you
gotta
had
have
to.
one group of 5.
You
The
want one
best
group
group of
of
5. Yep.
That's fine.
And then, or we can scrap the group of 5 and we make it the AAC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but well, it won't really matter because now Cincinnati's leaving the Big 12. But
Good move by them.
I think I don't know. We'll talk more about the playoff rankings when we get there.
Okay.
I gotta ponder some things now. If you're giving me some things to think about.
All right.
Well, after Saturday's wins in the state of Michigan for both Michigan and Michigan State, and the demise on the western side of the Big Ten, the perpetual question of rebalancing the Big Ten for competitiveness has come up again. And when in 2011, when the Big Ten realigned after adding Nebraska, they had leaders and legends to keep the competitive balance. And in the legends, it was Iowa, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern. And the leaders, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio State, Penn State, Purdue, and Wisconsin. And after the last season and a handful of seasons before, perennially the best teams have been in the East. Typically Ohio State, followed by Michigan, Penn State, and then Michigan State. Ryan, do you think the Big Ten should realign its divisions to make it more competitive?
I do. I don't think the Legends leaders is the exact way to go, just because that ends up with Michigan on the opposite side of Ohio State, and they're going to want to keep them in the same side.
I think you have a depth. I'll talk about it when I get to my side. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think Michigan State needs to be on the opposite side of Michigan and Ohio State, but that Michigan and Ohio State need to be on the same side. Because for basketball, your 3 best teams.
You play everybody anyway, so it's not that. It doesn't really.
Yeah,
matter.
I guess it's not a big deal. So football is really what you're really worried about.
Right.
So your 3 best teams are almost always Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. The only time that falters is if Michigan has a bad year and it's like
Michigan
Purdue.
State has a bad year.
But Ohio State's always going to be your best.
Penn State. It could be Penn.
Ohio State's always going to be one of your best.
Yes.
So what you plan on is that your 4 and 5 are on the side of your 2, 3, essentially. So it'd be like Ohio State and Michigan on one side. Then it's like Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State on the other, maybe. Right? Maybe if you don't want Purdue, I'm fine with Iowa there too. Or Wisconsin. I don't know. I'm saying you put... Maybe let's do it like this. I'm just going to throw something out there. If it was Ohio State, Michigan, Purdue, and Northwestern on one side, and then the other side is Michigan State, Penn State, Iowa, Wisconsin, does that sound pretty fair? Or am I stacking the Michigan State side?
I think here's the problem that you're going to face no matter what.
Yeah.
And they faced it when they did this right here. Your problem lies with Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State. And it's not about the competitiveness, it's about the rivalries. Because you have to play Michigan, Michigan State, and Michigan, Ohio State. It's really all about revolves around Michigan. You have to play both those games every season.
I guess what I'm thinking is you put Michigan on Ohio State's side, so it's guaranteed, and then they're basically told, you have to schedule Michigan State.
Well, I think it's the same thing that they did here, Because, at this point, Michigan and Ohio State, when back in the day, they obviously forced them. I don't know. I mean, I think it definitely needs realigned. I think you could potentially do Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State on one side. But then you have to, like you said, you're shipping Iowa, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue on the other side to make that a little more competitive. Penn State can float atop.
If you keep Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State on the same side, then it's got to be like Rutgers, Nebraska, and Northwestern with them. Like, it's got to be your weakest.
You throw in Maryland. Or maybe you throw Minnesota in there. And Maryland
I'd rather have Minnesota there because Michigan plays Minnesota every year for the Little Brown Jug.
Yes.
So you have to have Minnesota there.
That's the thing, too.
And Maryland, I think, is probably a better football program anyway.
All the trophy series, that's the problem. So Michigan State's trophy series are with Michigan, Penn State, and Indiana.
State. Indiana? I thought it was Michigan State.
Michigan State is with Michigan, Penn State, and Indiana. Ohio State is Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. So that's the problem. You have so many trophy series, too, that you have to try and keep up every year as well.
Yeah.
That's hard.
There's really no good way to do it. I mean,
There isn't.
I think right now is overly stacked, though, in the East. Like,
it is.
Harshly.
Because you have typically, Penn State went into a demise after Clifford's injury, but your 4 best teams would have been those 4.
Yeah, and you can't have that.
No. So, I don't know what you do, but you kind of have to make it somewhat like the SEC and have 2 or 3 top teams on each side that are actually fairly similar.
Yep.
I don't know. I can't take. I'm not Commissioner Warren. I'm not taking up on that issue. But I think it's just we've seen it once again. It's Ohio State and Michigan. The regular top teams are in the East, and that's just your issue that
Exactly.
you have until you actually balance.
Unless Northwestern's about to become a powerhouse for football.
I mean, they did for those 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
They were consistently good, and now they're back in the bottom of the barrel.
Penn State needs Trace McSorley to return. They were great.
Need a lot to return, and KJ Hamler,
Chris Godwin.
Yeah, they need about. Let's see what James Franklin knows at this
Hey,
time.
I will say, I had an idea. Me and my friends were talking.
Ideas.
How fun would it be instead of the Pro Bowl, you pick, instead of the Pro Bowl, you have the guys go with their conferences. So it's Power 5. You do the Power 5 and then one Group 5. So it would be for example, the Big Ten team would be Brady, Chris Godwin, I'm trying to think, Jonathan Taylor, Ezekiel Elliott. You take the Big Ten guys, the Big Ten alumni, and they play, and then you can rotate it. So we'll do Big 10, Big 12 at the 1 o'clock slot, and then because you'd have 6. You'd have 6 teams.
You think the NFL's going to do that?
And so I think that's a more fun way to do the Pro Bowl because guys would have a little more pride in it if it's their college, you know what I mean?
Maybe.
And they could wear their college helmets.
They could.
That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
I agree. I just don't think...
The NFL would never do it, but that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
I never watched the Pro Bowl. That's my opinion.
But would you if it was conference battles?
Maybe.
See?
I don't know. I'm not... See, the problem is that once we hit... See, I'm in the basketball mode right now. I'm getting into basketball mode. That's the problem, all right? Because, I got Michigan State, I got Dayton, I got UConn, I got too many things to watch there. My Dayton Flyers, yes, got the big win. If you didn't see that last-second shot by Amzil, over the Kansas Jayhawks, that was pretty good. And that team lost to Austin Peay and Lipscomb and UMass Lowell.
Really?
That's how bad that team was, and somehow won that championship down in Orlando. So I don't know what to say about that. But anyway, we're moving on. So over the last 3-4 days, there have been huge splashes in the free agency market in Major League Baseball. So Ryan, which is the biggest free agency move in the MLB at the moment?
I was really kind of wanting to go Rangers here because they kind of just transformed from a tanking team to potentially top 10 and with another piece, probably a top 5 team, getting Corey Seager and Marcus Semien, 2 MVP-level players.
Yes.
One of them a World Series MVP. And then Semien was up for MVP, wasn't he? It was him. Marcus Semien. Wasn't he an MVP candidate?
I can't answer that. I don't even know who that is.
Okay. Well, he's very good at baseball. He had a really good year for the Blue Jays. So Semien is very good, and but I'm honestly going to go with the team I've been wearing the hat of as we've recorded, and that is...
Meet the Mets.
Yeah, it's all about the Mets, baby. I love the Mets. Go Mets. And let me see. Semien was... No, he wasn't an MVP candidate, but this year...
Is he? Well, he was. He was voted 3rd.
Oh, there it is. He was an MVP candidate. Yes. I'm not tripping.
What did he bat? 45 homers and 102 RBIs.
Yeah, he had a heck of a year. Yeah, it was him and Vladdy because they had 2 candidates, and then they both lost unanimously to Shohei.
Yes.
That's what it was. Yep. All right, so I remember. So Semien, MVP-level player. Corey Seager, 2020 World Series MVP. Both amazing players. That's a heck of an infield.
Yep.
But that's not one signing. If I had to pick a singular signing, it's all about the Mets, baby. Go Mets, Max Scherzer. That is one of the best pitchers in baseball, and some nights flat out the best pitcher in baseball, the most psychopathic pitcher in baseball.
Yes.
Trevor Bauer used to have the role until we figured out he was a legitimate psychopath.
Right.
So now, Max Scherzer has taken over that role.
Yes.
And Scherzer's crazy good. And I find it very interesting that Dodgers players must feel like I do, which is just get me the heck out of here, because him and Corey Seager both left.
Yep.
And Kershaw might. That's what they're talking about.
I don't see it happening.
I'm kind of waiting to see where my guy Chris Bryant goes, because I love me. That's my favorite player, Chris Bryant.
He's the one to stay with the Giants?
Him and Tim Tatis are my 2 favorites. He might. They don't know. They said he's expected to sign within the next week. They're talking about Marlins, maybe Rangers, maybe Tigers. That'd be pretty cool. So I don't know.
Tigers just signed Javi Baez.
I know. I love the way baseball works, where I feel like the NFL is much the most difficult easily to turn around, your team. NBA, you can get 1 or 2 good players in the draft, and boom, you jump up 5 spots. We've seen that before. The Cavs right now.
Yeah.
Went from a bottom feeder to being a pretty middle of the road, potentially playoff team. And then with the NFL, it takes a lot to turn things around. It really.
The draft. It's all because of the salary cap and those two.
And it's because there's so many moving parts. I mean, the football team.
Right. You have 22 players out there. You got to have backups, those kinds of things.
Well, and it's like you can have best defense in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you can't put points up on the board, vice versa.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah. Whereas with basketball, I mean, most guys that are in the NBA are pretty much mostly two-way anymore.
Right. They don't specialize just in one.
Yeah.
One side.
And if you do, you're probably not a top 5 pick. So,
look at Ben Simmons.
That's true. Really, he's a really good defensive player, though. But back to the baseball thing, I think it's funny with baseball. I mean, a team like the Tigers and the Rangers, both terrible teams, guys are like, yeah, I'll go there because, right. I mean, it just takes that one or two missing pieces and boom, all of a sudden, they're going.
Right.
It's the way baseball works because your team, you can have the 2 best pitchers in the league and an incredibly good hitter, and then, well, let's use the Angels as an example. The Angels have probably the 2 best players in baseball, didn't go anywhere. Well, is Noah Syndergaard the missing piece, and now they're going to turn around? You don't know. Like I'm saying, that's the way baseball is. They might as well chance it. So I think it's interesting Baez went to the Tigers, but Scherzer's the biggest move because the Mets are totally in win-now mode of Starling Marte coming too. I love Starling Marte, great player. Just a really good in the lineup, hits for average guy, gets on base. He's very good. And really liked him back when he was with Pittsburgh Pirates. And honestly, this Mets team is really looking like a World Series team now. I mean, you got DeGrom and Scherzer.
Wait, let go Syndergaard, though.
Yeah, you lost Syndergaard, but Scherzer's better than Syndergaard.
Yeah, but you wanted to keep all of them.
Well, duh, but I mean, if I have to pick one or the other, I'm picking Scherzer.
Because if they're handing out money left and right.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they got Lindor there still. Like, Lindor's better than Baez, so they let Baez walk. And Baez all the issues with the fans.
Right, and remember, Baez was just a pothole cover anyway.
Yeah, he was.
They were waiting for Lindor to get back.
They pretty much gave my Cubs nothing for him anyway, so that kind of hurt. Yep. But I think honestly that's the biggest move because I think the Mets are now legitimately a World Series contender. They definitely look like they're going to win the East. It's them and the Braves. Fight it out. Mm-hmm. Potentially the Phillies if Harper has another MVP year, but
we'll see what
Harper definitely deserved that MVP. I think I said that on my MLB wrap-up.
I believe you did.
I said it should be Harper, and it was, and I'm very happy that it was Harper. He deserved it. I love you, Juan Soto. You're my guy, but Harper deserved it.
No, that's all you can say. I do agree with your Mets, and I do like them. I like the Max Scherzer move,
love the black
but
jerseys.
I'm cautious about the Max Scherzer move, not the black jersey move.
Do you like the black jerseys?
Haven't seen the black jerseys.
Oh, you gotta see them. They're gorgeous.
But the reason I'm just a little bit concerned about Max Scherzer, he is getting older. He's 37. I don't know. I mean, I do like the black jerseys. It's going to be about health and keeping him there, but he can go a solid 7-8 whenever you need him. So hopefully he stays healthy, and that's a good move. I'm going to go with an undersung move that, not undersung, but I guess underwhelming move that people didn't really take
Also,
much.
Pete Alonso's still there. He's a dog.
Yes,
he's great.
He is a dog. I'm going to go, actually it's a tie for 2. The first one is Justin Verlander re-signing with the Astros because it shows again that the Astros are in win-now mode because they kept Dusty Baker and they're trying to go back-to-back with Verlander.
They still got Alvarez, and we all know he's underrated.
Exactly.
He's great. Yordan Alvarez.
So, their farm system is the best in the MLB, so that's why you can put a big bet. And Dusty Baker is a great manager as well.
Them and the Rays. And you know who's like 2 of the best teams in the MLB consistently? Rays and Astros. Because if the Rays lose...
after leaving the NL.
True.
They must have just been sandbagging the National League and said, American League, we'll get you. We'll beat you right now.
My thing with the Rays that's so cool is like they don't have to pay anybody because they're like, oh, you want to leave? That's fine. We got Wander Franco. Friggin' get out. You're fine. We've got Randy Arozarena. We can just pull out of nowhere and be a top 5 playoff performer. Yep. The new Mr. October, Randy Arozarena.
Amen. But my second move is I'm going to say Robbie Ray to the Mariners.
That was a great move.
The Mariners came out at left field last year. They were a middling team until they made that push late, and truly, if the AL could have had an expanded playoff, they would have had a great playoff with 7-8 teams in there because you had.
They would totally win a wild card game.
You would have had you had the Blue Jays, you had the Mariners, and the Athletics. Those 3 teams are right there.
Especially those Mariners and Blue Jays, because Vladdy had an incredible. Vladdy wins the MVP by a landslide every other year, and Marcus Semien puts up a good fight, I guess. But if Shohei doesn't exist, it's the Joe Burrow argument, where it's like you're seeing something that's so incredible that it's like doesn't matter how great the guy is that's below him. It's like, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chase Young.
There's some way better. Yeah.
That's just like we're seeing once in a generation performance here, and you're having an incredible performance on a year-to-year, like, you know what I mean? A normal year, you're definitely the MVP, bro. But right now, Steph Curry's 2016 mode. So that's kind of how I feel right now with the NBA MVP.
Yeah.
Like, he's just cooking right now.
He is.
Chef
cooking.
Curry.
Interesting
pick.
It'd be interesting to see. But I mean, I've always liked the Mariners. I really liked it when Felix Hernandez was there. Haven't made a playoff.
I have a soft spot for him because I love Felix Hernandez. I love King
Yes.
Felix, and of course, my favorite player ever played there,
The
Ken
King.
Griffey Jr. And they're the only team to never be in the World Series. They've never won a pennant, and they've never won the World Series.
Yeah,
every other
that's
team in the
interesting.
MLB has won a pennant.
How old are they?
They came in I want to say 1979.
Okay, that's a lot of series. That's, excuse me, a lot of years.
79?
We're gonna look up.
Well, back when they were the blue and yellow, they might be 68. It might be 68. It might be I might be off. You know what I mean?
I think they need to bring MLB back to Montreal. If anybody cares to know there.
77.
77. So there we go.
I said,
But, all right. Well, enough of America's pastime because it's off season for them. Just got word last night and this past weekend, two big headlines, two big coaching moves.
Oh yeah, I
And
can't even believe the second one happened. Like the first one,
in college football.
I've got two stories now.
Yeah. So, Lincoln Riley has, after Oklahoma's lost to Oklahoma State, immediately was hired by USC. And last night, Brian Kelly came to terms with LSU and becoming the new coach there for Go Tigers. So, which is the better hiring? Riley at USC or Kelly at LSU?
Well, these both come with a story. First one is more simple, which is, a big reason I like Notre Dame is because I really like Brian Kelly, especially the one where he's like, I'm a big believer in execution. I think some of our players should be executed. That's like in my top 5 favorite college football coach interviews. That one's hilarious.
Yeah.
What's up with the college football coaches giving hilarious interviews? The NFL guys don't do that enough.
Did you see Saban's recent interview at the end?
Which one?
It was
What did
about
he do?
3 minutes long about answering. Well, it's not his interview isn't 3 minutes long, but this question is 3 minutes long about his team and setting standards and thinking that they're just gonna blow them out and then they don't and whatever and they need to lower their expectations about Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, I did see that when he was making
Yeah.
fun. He's like, all these fans think we're just gonna blow everybody out and go undefeated every year. Like, he was
Right.
like mad. Yeah, no, I did see that. That was
yeah.
wild. These college coaches go off the rails. The NFL guys like Tomlin they just sit there and they're calm and they
Some
move
of
on. You don't usually see too many get too.
Oh, hold on. Let's stop the phone here. Hold the phone.
What?
Okay, I forgot. Before we get on to college football. All right here, we're plugging a Seinfeld clip right here. We were talking about the Mets. We got to hear about the second spitter, right, Kramer? You know the second spitter?
No, I don't remember that.
You don't know? When Keith Hernandez comes on. You know Keith
Yes,
Hernandez?
yes,
Okay. Yes, remember?
Yes, I know what we're talking about. Yes.
That's
yes,
Phillies, yes. So we're going to plug that clip about the second spitter right here.
What are you talking about?
Keith Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez?
Keith Hernandez!
Hello, Newman.
I hate Keith Hernandez. Hate him.
I despise him. Why? I'll tell you why.
Now, let me tell it.
No, you can't tell
You
it.
always tell it.
All right, tell it.
You just tell it.
June 14th, 1987. Mets, Phillies were enjoying a beautiful afternoon in the right field stands when a crucial Hernandez error opens the door to a 5-run Phillies ninth, cost the Mets the game.
Our day was ruined. There was a lot of people, they're waiting by the players' parking lot. Now, we're coming down the ramp. Newman was in front of me. Hernandez was coming toward us. As he passes us, Newman turns and says, "Nice game, pretty boy." Hernandez continued past us up the ramp.
Then, a second later, something happened that changed us in a very deep and profound way from that day forward.
What was it?
He spit on us. And I screamed out, "I'm hit!"
Then I turned and the spit ricocheted off him and it hit me.
And enough baseball now.
Took me a moment to remember.
Back over to you. Talking about you like Kelly. That's why you like Notre Dame with Brian Kelly. And now you're moving on.
So, and then at LSU, I love that 2019 LSU team. I stand by it's like the best college football team ever. And Ed Orgeron, I really liked his personality and stuff he brought to the team, but, they wanted to move on. And I know you don't always hear the best things about him behind the scenes, that he was better.
Yeah, but I mean, his record was 51-20.
I think he was a pretty good coach, but I remember they were like, well, he's kind of disrespectful when he beats teams and da-da-da. I don't know.
Who isn't disrespectful when they beat
Exactly, but whatever. It's not my place, I guess. But, I mean, what is the show? I mean, it's us putting our place somewhere, so.
What's the show?
This show is pretty. The Big Salad's whole thing is us being like, what I would do. So I guess what I would say is I like that Orgeron. But
and by the way, speaking of coaches' interviews, Mike Gundy, 2007 or 2008, when he was going after that reporter about going after his athletes, that's a good one. Go ahead.
College coaches are wild. But so Brian Kelly, I think it's an interesting signing. I'd like to see LSU football be one of the top in college football because that's a fun SEC team do well. I like it when they're taking out the Bama, I like it when Georgia does well. Just take out the Bama, take out the Clemson, take out the Ohio State. I'm cool with LSU running amok. I like that. But big other story is I get a text from my mother after I just finished watching Ghostbusters Afterlife in theaters. I checked my phone right after. You usually finish a movie, check your phone, make sure nothing important happened while you were gone for 2 hours.
Right, that's what you should do.
And she's like, Lincoln Riley at USC, and I looked up the articles, and it was like, why USC's play for Riley won't work. It was top headline. And I was like, okay, whatever, he didn't sign there.
Right.
So then later I'm sitting there, my phone goes off, Lincoln Riley to USC. I was like, what? After I just texted my mother that it was just a ploy and they weren't going to get him. Because I was like, why would he ever leave? There it is. He left. And I'm like, well, there's probably the, third best coach in college football? Potentially second? I mean, the three biggest names in college football coaching are Saban, Day, Riley. And even though Day's... No, sorry. Sweeney. Saban, Sweeney, Riley, then Day. Sorry. You think Kelly's fifth?
No, we'll put him at 5. Yeah, we'll put him at 5. Yeah.
There you go. Kelly's 5. My thing with Day is he has to be fourth because he's never won a national title. And then Riley's never won a national title, but he pumps out the best NFL quarterbacks and the most Heismans.
Right.
Saban is like the greatest coach of all time, pretty much. So I know you don't want to. You going to disagree with that one, or are you fine with that?
For what?
Saban GOAT. You fine with that?
Saban?
Greatest college football coach of all time, Nick Saban.
Nick Saban?
You fine with that?
Not right now.
Okay. So Sweeney, I think so.
Hold on. How can we argue out Bear Bryant?
Yeah, I understand that.
How can we argue out Joe Paterno?
I understand.
How can you argue out Newt Rockne, baby?
I understand. I just think when it's all said and done, Saban's going to win
Okay, hold on. There's another funny clip that I want you to plug in here.
Okay.
All right, about best coach. All right, it involves Tim Conway on Scooby-Doo, and it's going to be plugged in here.
Right out of town. You've heard of Newt Rockne? Certainly. The greatest coach in sports history.
You mean the second greatest? Now that I'm calling the plays. Here plays.
And I know you haven't even seen it yet, but when I show it to you, you're going to laugh about it. But anyway, go ahead with your coaches and your...
All right.
Yeah.
So, Nick Saban, and then Sweeney, is a guy completely made Clemson like this huge powerhouse that wins national titles. I'm really glad they did down here, though, because I don't really like Sweeney or Clemson. But point is, those are like your big five names, and I think Riley, if you're a player, as far as player coaches go, Riley's your guy. I mean, he's the one who pumps out all this credible talent. I mean, he also had some great wide receivers there. C.D. Lamb, he was a heck of a wide receiver for Oklahoma. So, I mean, you just saw what's the guy, the number 2. There's this, my 2023 graduating class is Arch Manning and this kid, Malachi Nelson, I think is his name.
I think that is.
And those two are like 2 5-star.
I'm pretty sure Malachi Nelson committed to Oklahoma already.
And he just decommitted today and recommitted to USC.
And yes, and you know where he's from already?
California.
Yes.
I think it's very interesting. But I think Arch, you and I were talking about Arch before we started recording about how you think you might go to Ole Miss or Tennessee, and I think that's quite fun. I'd like to see that.
Yes.
But point is, those two are like the two next big things. Arch Manning is like the LeBron of football, like right now. Like he's being incredibly hyped as a high school kid.
Could you see Caleb Williams using the transfer portal to go out there with Lincoln Riley?
I think it's incredibly interesting, and I would like to see it. I think that's really interesting.
Spencer Rattler just entered the transfer portal. That's another question mark where he's gonna.
Where's Rattler gonna go?
I don't know.
I mean,
Ole Miss,
I'd like to see him go Big Ten.
Manning's gonna, there needs to be a gap year there for old. Let's eat popcorn. Get your popcorn ready.
That's true. That's true.
Possible.
Spencer this year was supposed to be big Heisman, big superstar.
And he was not big Heisman. No. He was little Heisman instead.
Yeah. He was not good. Yeah, so my thing with Riley is this. Would you rather go to the SEC and be probably the third best program, sometimes fourth or fifth best program there, or would you rather be the guy who saved USC football and brought it back to its former glory and Pac-12 football back to its former glory? Do you want to be that guy? Well, duh, take that job. Like, you have way less pressure. You're the savior instead of the guy who has to fight tooth and nail and play Alabama every year.
Fighting Goliath every year.
Yeah, you have to fight teams that are on your level or above.
I say that because Oklahoma as a program has the best winning percentage of any collegiate football program since the end of World War II.
Interesting. So, but I mean, I think he turned Oklahoma was already a superpower. He made it the quarterback university.
Yeah.
And he'll do that to USC.
5-10 there and had great. I mean, he had Jalen Hurts,
Baker Mayfield. His best project, because it was truly his, because Baker, transferred from Texas Tech, and then Hurts transferred to Alabama, is Kyler Murray.
Oh, yes.
Kyler Murray is his guy he created, and he's amazing. So I'm saying, I'd love to see USC. I think it's quite fun if USC becomes the new quarterback university out in California, Southern California. That's a fun place to be. Carson Palmer went there. Right. I think there's a lot of cool history there they can do, and I'd love to see the Pac-12 have a big team that competes every year. That's not Oregon, because Oregon almost always is a faker.
Yeah.
So,
hey, UCLA got better this year under Chip Kelly. We have to give them some props. I'm pretty sure they went 8-4. Pretty sure they went 8-4 at UCLA.
Good for them.
Pretty good.
But they also graduated Josh Rosen, so we can never forgive them.
Yeah, but Chip Kelly wasn't there. So
True.
I gotta give Chip.
Point is, Lincoln Riley, kind of a genius on his part because he gets to be held savior and all this stuff. Now the Oklahoma fans are going to hate him, and I completely get that, and that makes total sense. But on his end, it's pretty smart because you get to be the savior of USC football, and that's a really easy place to recruit people to. You want to come to Southern California, hang out on the beaches, like. How easy is that? And and now, like you just saw Malachi Nelson, boom, immediately went. So I think it's really tough when you're a Sooners fan. I feel really bad for them. But I mean, when you're an Oklahoma State Cowboys fan right now, you're sitting back laughing. Or you're a Baylor fan, laugh all you want because you guys run the Big 12 now. It's them, Cincinnati, Baylor. Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Baylor. That's it. Because Texas is out.
Is BYU coming?
I think maybe, yeah. No, BYU, I thought it was Pac-10 now. They're going to switch over that. Are they going to Big 12? You know more than I do. You're probably right. You're probably right. Point is, the Big 12, I mean, Texas Tech maybe makes a big run. Like we know, they graduated Mahomes. They haven't been as good since Kingsbury left.
Joins the Big 12 in 2023.
There it is. That's the thing that sucks about college football, though, is that nothing really ever happens for like 3 years. You know what I mean? They always plan it so far in ahead. Those contracts they write. But didn't I say that last week? I think I literally said that exactly. It takes forever.
What?
It takes forever for anything to happen in college football. They plan the contracts out so far ahead.
That's what you got to do.
I guess it just kind of stinks. I mean, point is, I'll get back on topic. Before we started recording, we talked about what Riley's contract is, and I think this is a genius move by him. He's getting paid.
This is the first part of the special section. Leak, right? Is this the leak part of the special section?
I guess it's the early leakage of it.
Yeah, early leakage of it. All right.
So we have a $110 million contract. Over how many years was that?
There are no years have been confirmed yet.
I'm assuming if it's $110 million,
we're going to assume it's 10. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Because Saban gets paid like $9.7 million, so that'd be about right.
So right now,
he'd be the highest paid coach of college football.
Just to set the scene real quick, so Saban's at $9.7 million. Mel Tucker, my coach at Michigan State, just signed a 10-year, $95 million deal, so he's making $9.5 million. He was the second highest paid coach. So this is, resetting the coaching market.
The other thing that works for Riley is he's a very young coach. So I mean, it's very impressive how he's gotten to this high stature in college football so fast. I mean, he's like 40, isn't he?
I thought he was only 36 or 37.
Wow. So point is, Riley, $110 million for probably we're guessing about 10 years. USC is buying both of his houses in Oklahoma for $500,000 over asking price, so it's essentially $1 million bonus. He's buying a $6 million home in USC is buying him a $6 million home.
By the way, 38.
Wow. So USC is buying him a $6 million home in LA and an unlimited use of the private jet 24/7 for his family. That is insane. That is like, as this article on SB Nation written by James Dater? Probably Dater.
I don't know.
Point is, he says this is the best contract since Bobby Bonilla. So, I agree. That's an incredible contract. Wow. So, yeah, Lincoln Riley, kind of a genius for that. I mean, if you go there 10 years, you're 48. You've still got, like, what? 15 more years of coaching when you're done with that contract?
Saban's almost 70.
Yeah, like you can do
25 years.
He could go. He could leave USC and go to freaking Northwestern if he wanted to. Make them the superpower.
No, he's not doing that because Pat Fitzgerald will never leave that job.
No. I don't know. I think it'd be funny if like he went to like North Texas and made it like a super program or something. That'd be funny. The Mean Green.
Yes, the Mean Green.
I only knew that because I'm their coach in NCAA football 06.
Ooh,
yeah.
Look at you go. All right.
A young coach, like call me Lincoln Riley. I don't get a private jet though, so that sucks.
Well, well, maybe you should call him.
Yeah, get on the Mean Green. Where's my Mean Green jet?
Exactly. All draped in green.
The answer to your question though is Lincoln Riley. That's a bigger move.
Well, I'm gonna say. See, here's the thing about them. Which one's the better move? I don't know. Lincoln Riley, what he can bring is that there are a lot of recruits in Southern California, and let's play a little role of Art Vandelay, importer, exporter here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's a lot of exports out of Southern California, not a lot of imports. Well, instead, there aren't going to be any imports or any exports. There's going to be a lot of stay ports instead. Yep. That's what I think Lincoln Riley can bring to UCLA. But I'm going to say the better hire in here is Brian Kelly at LSU for some reason. And you want to know why? I think Brian Kelly, he is also a great recruiter as well. He's going to bring in his connections. LSU, they got great facilities, great boosters, and every coach at LSU in recent memory has won a national championship. So I don't know why Brian Kelly couldn't repeat that success. Now, the problem that Brian Kelly's going to face is that he doesn't sustain that success, even though Coach O was 51-20 during his tenure in his 5 or 6 seasons. I believe it was 6 seasons at LSU. He got canned, so I would say Brian Kelly, watch out if you do not win. Same thing with Les Miles. Let's think about Les Miles. I know we had a couple controversies around him, and I don't know if that was really the filing offense, but he had a very good winning record too there at LSU.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was more of the controversies that got rid of him. So
I think these are two of the top coaches in college football. Like we already said, two top 5 coaches.
Top 5
and they bounced. They went different places. That's wild.
Yes, and I'm glad my guy Mel Tucker stayed at Michigan State because I was all concerned that he.
I'm a big Lincoln Riley fan. I thought he was going to go NFL, so I'm pretty excited he's going to USC. I'm going to be watching some Pac-12 games. I'm going to be real honest. I want to see what he's going to be running at USC.
They don't have Bill Walton commentating.
That would be entertainment value. That would be the entertainment value. I'd buy Pac-12 Network for that crap. All right.
I think
Bill Walton
these are both great hires. I'm going to side more with Brian Kelly, though, at the moment.
Well, that's why it's a good show. You always got to disagree with me somehow.
Well, at some point. And, I've heard a lot of rumors on the street that Luke Fickell might be the hot runner for the Notre Dame job. Do you think he's going to leave Cincinnati to do that? I don't think so.
No, he's loyal to the Cincinnati soil. Exactly. He brought that program out of nothing.
Loyal to the Cincinnati soil. Somebody patent that one, baby.
Zach Taylor's going to patent
That's a good one. And then, so I don't know. I'm just interested to see how these pay off the next couple years. I mean, I think it's going to be, it's really turning.
I think long term, both of these might have national titles next to their name, but Lincoln Riley might put out 3 NFL superstars out of USC. I mean,
possible.
It's such a good recruiting option. I can't get over
possible.
that. Like, if I was a 5-star quarterback and they said you want to come play at USC, heck yeah, that's over Oklahoma where it's getting tornadoes.
Nope.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I mean, true. Well, but then Brian Kelly went.
He must like maroon.
Hurricanes.
He must like maroon.
Yeah, I mean, he does. I mean, that's all he goes.
He broke my heart though because I saw the interview. He's like, "I'm not going to LSU." I was like, "Well, dang it," because that's what I wanted. I wanted Riley at LSU.
That's why he doesn't go to LSU. He's going to USC.
I'd have one of my favorite coaches and one of my favorite programs. I don't have a favorite team, but I do have some favorite coaches, and I like to see certain programs do well. LSU's one of them. So is Iowa State. I'd like to see Iowa State do well.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
College football's getting wild.
I think Brian Kelly can bring up LSU, make the SEC better. So
great.
There we go. Anyway, more of a question for you. With the NBA season already off to almost 20 games, a quarter of the way into the season already.
That's wild.
Even though it's early, right now the Golden State Warriors are 18-2 and the Phoenix Suns are 17-3. So can anybody catch them in the Western Conference?
I don't think so. I think this Suns team is just really good chemistry-wise. I'm pretty proud of my predictions right now, other than the Lakers one. Which is, I had the Suns, Jazz, and Warriors all finishing top 5, or might have been top 4, and right now they're all on track for that, so I'm pretty proud of that one. Mm-hmm. And I think I had the Suns second, actually, which is what they are right now, so that's pretty cool. But overall, I do think both these teams, the thing is with the Warriors, they're going to have probably the best season, the best regular season record, because I think Curry's going for that MVP, and then I think The Suns are just a great chemistry team that we see every year that does really well in the regular season, and I think they can potentially continue their playoff success. I'd like to see it. So, I don't think anybody's catching these guys for the West, at least. For the East, obviously the Bucks have been picking it up, which we knew they would. And, the Bucks are on track to be a finals team again, potentially. Heat are on track to be a finals team, which is fun. Cavs are on track to make the playoffs, which makes me so happy. So, and then the Pelicans are on track to be a disappointment like always. So, really, everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. The Hornets are on track to be the most fun in the league again. Once I do my first most watchables, the Hornets are going to be very high up there along with those Knicks. Bing bong. I love the Knicks.
Bing bong.
But apparently it's those New York teams that are the loser New York teams. I got to love them. The Mets, the Knicks, they're fun. I hate those New York teams that do well, though. They're jerks. But, so... Bing bong, Knicks are fun, but no one's probably catching those guys because they got the chemistry and then the MVP. So Curry's been crazy. I think like I said this last week. We're in assassin Curry mode. It's like Kobe. You had early Kobe with the fro that was a little more cocky and flashy. Then you got bald Mamba Kobe that was focused and a killer. We're getting bald Mamba Kobe right now with Curry. The Curry we saw in 2016 was the flashy poofy hair Kobe, Froby. Right now we're in Mamba Killer Kobe, which is dangerous. Cornrow Curry. You know how he had cornrows for a little bit last year?
I do.
Yeah. That was actually oddly a good look
because
on him.
he didn't go to the barber during COVID.
Yeah, true. It was kind of a good look for him, I'm not going to lie. But, he looks bigger, stronger, faster.
And cornrow Russ.
Yeah. So, cornrow Russ was good, too. But, so pretty much point is that team looks like MVP and potential finals contender, which is pretty impressive. I mean, I really respect what Curry's done there, so... Who would have thought 5 years ago that I respect Steph Curry and don't like LeBron James? It's really a weird twist.
There you go.
It's because of what he did to my guy, Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart.
I agree with your take on this because I don't think anybody's going to catch him either. Right now, I mean, the Warriors are up 5 games over the third place team and the Suns up 4. And the reason is, number one, for the Warriors, they're going to get better with Klay Thompson back.
Yep.
Number one. And James Wiseman, going to help them down low too. And number two, the Suns, they have great leadership again by Chris Paul and Devin Booker because he's the oldest one of those little young rugrats they have on that team. So... I just don't see anybody being as good as them in the West. I mean, the Lakers are injured. I mean, LeBron was out again tonight, I saw. There's no consistency there. I mean, I think it's about time for LeBron to retire and just start making movies. That's why he moved out to L.A.
Yeah.
So, I see that coming.
I think that team plays better without him. I mean, Russ and AD look more better.
Good, yes.
I really like Russ
and
there.
Frank
You know
Vogel's
that.
a good coach, yes.
Yeah. I've been impressed with Vogel. Very impressed.
Yes, very impressed. He was impressive when he was with the Indiana Pacers. So
yeah.
That's why I can't knock him. But no, I think I don't see anybody touching these two teams at all unless somebody gets injured. And
really,
right now you've been able to see that the Warriors can weather the storm with an injury.
Really, well, I mean, Curry's just flat out said we're good this year and just flat out decided that. So yeah.
And every time
and Gary Payton II been a really good pickup for them.
Yeah, and every time they have won 15 of their first 20 games, they have made the finals. So
no!
We'll just see if
I have respect for this Warriors team. I don't know if I want to see that. Well, I will say though, Bucks Warriors finals is probably the most ideal finals this year. That is so fun because I mean those are like probably the two most likable players in the league, right there, Giannis, Curry, and they're your two best players in the league. Mm-hmm. I mean I think KD's third now because Curry's been so good and Giannis has been as Giannis is playing, Giannis been the same level of awesome the past 3 years and improved every year. And so, last 4 years now, 2019. Sorry, I had to think about that. Right? No. It'd be 2019, 2020, 2021, 2020. Yeah, 4 years. Holy crap. We've had 4 years of crazy Giannis being arguably the best player in the league. He was best player in the league the past 2 years. It's Curry right now. And then KD third, Luka fourth. So, I mean, yeah. Basically, what you're seeing right now is that could be the finals. That'd be awesome because it's two loyal guys, the two most loyal guys in the NBA.
Agree.
And they show that sticking with their team is the right move.
Agree.
And they're on supermaxes, which makes that look good. The NBA put that in.
Agree.
And they're both former MVPs. And the storyline's there because Giannis, the media really wanted him to leave the Bucks for the Warriors, so it's a really interesting storyline. And I think the Bucks might win that series. So I also want that because of that, because I think Giannis can get. I don't think Draymond Green's stopping my guy Giannis. I don't think that's happening.
Right.
But Curry might outscore him. So that would be an awesome finals. So it would also be the matchup between my girlfriend and I. So that would be fun too.
What?
Warriors Bucks, yeah.
Dana
still Warriors. Yeah, she loves Curry. Her favorite player is Steph Curry.
Really?
Yeah,
Didn't know that one.
We get the yin yang on that one. That's pretty fun too.
I didn't know
but her little
that.
brother's a Bucks fan like me, loves Giannis. So I get the benefit.
You turned Blake with you. All right, moving on to our next headline. This past Sunday, big wins took place, and the first one, the New England Patriots manhandled the Titans, which you got correctly on the Big Finish, and for the former, but in the latter here, the Green Bay Packers, they took care of business against the LA Rams. I got correct on that one. So, but which one was the bigger win? Patriots over Titans or Packers over Rams?
I think Packers over the Rams isn't the bigger win because I do think both those team playoff times are still contenders regardless. Patriots Titans to me is the bigger win because Bill Belichick just won Coach of the Year. There it is. That's that. Give it
over Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah. I mean, that team was abysmal last year. Their record was
over John Harbaugh.
I thought you said Jim Harbaugh for a moment. I really laughed. I was like, that's funny. That's why I laughed. Sorry.
And by the way, Mel Tucker was named Big Ten Coach of the Year over Jim Harbaugh today. So there you go.
Well, he should have been. He had a great year. So, yeah, I mean, Patriots, Bill Belichick just won Coach of the Year. He proved that he can do it again. Mac Jones is Rookie of the Year. It's him or Jamar Chase. But Chase hasn't been consistent enough, so it's going to be Mac.
Yep.
When we play Contender or Pretender, my answer is going to start with a C. So I'm saying I didn't want to give it away. But, yeah, so I think it's Patriots. They just cemented themselves as a it starts with C and ends with an ender. So, you know.
You know, I'm going to have to side with you as well on the Patriots over Titans because it's showing trends. It's not showing... I mean, there is a trend right now with the Rams. It's going downward. Packers have been steady, but they have been a little up and down. But Patriots-Titans, the Patriots trend, they've been ascendant. And they should continue to ascend because they have an easy schedule to close out. The Titans, on the other hand, they are descended. Without Derrick Henry there, they have been awful. So that's what makes it completely interesting there. And I don't know if Belichick's wrapped up Coach of the Year yet. I'm not going to say it that way. I mean, what happens if the Washington football team makes the playoffs or something like that? Does Rivera get Coach of the Year? Does he turn it around?
I think we do because that's the big solid NFC team. So I think it should be us.
So I don't know. I mean, it's just, the NFL's kind of, it's just crazy right now. The AFC West is, the Chargers and the Broncos beat the Chargers this week. It was, Lamar threw 4 interceptions against the Browns. That was a wild sequence. Did you watch that?
Yes.
On Sunday Night Football. The last 5 minutes of the first half right there. That was the wildest sequence I've seen in a while.
I love how the NFL right now is mirroring college football, where they're both having wild years where there's not really a clear number one, even more in NFL than there is in college football. Georgia is pretty much clear number one.
Yes.
But they're not perfect. But I'm saying, NFL
they are perfect, though.
Kind of, yeah, pretty much. I'm with
by
you.
Their record.
Yeah, their record, yeah. But I'm saying the NFL is no clear number one. There's definitely no clear MVP. To me, I'm saying it again, it should be Lamar. I don't care that his stats are kind of flawed. Look at his team. Look at what he's working with here. I think Marquise Brown is borderline terrible. He's not that good. He's short and he's not very good. And I think you're like, why are you making fun of his height? I'm not. I'm saying it's harder to throw to him because he's not very tall.
Okay, whoa. Antonio Brown.
True.
5'10".
True.
Been through.
How tall's Marquise? I think he's like 5'8". He's tiny.
He might be 5'10" as well.
He's pretty small. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that makes it even harder for you to throw to him. I don't care how fast he is. He's
5'9". He's 1 inch shorter than Antonio. So
that inch makes a big difference. I'm just kidding.
No,
but
I'm not going to say what I was thinking. But
Marquise Brown, I don't think is that good. He's the best wide receiver on the team. The best receiver on the team's freaking Mark Andrews. And nothing against Mark Andrews, but he's like, what, the 4th best tight end in the league? 5th?
He's not the top.
It's Kelsey 1, Kittle 2.
He could be 3.
I'm trying to think who'd be 3 over him.
Maybe Hunter Henry.
Maybe Darren Waller.
Yeah, Darren
Waller. And then 4th, I'd almost put Pitts right now. Pitts has been doing really well.
Yeah, that's been really
so it's him or Pitts at 4 or 5. So I'm saying, Lamar's put up some of his best passing numbers. He's been really good rushing. He hasn't fumbled much. He has thrown some picks. But I'm saying, who hasn't out of the MVP candidates? I mean, it looks like, honestly, I think Lamar's your best bet. If the Ravens end with winning the AFC North, I'd give him it.
They're on the track for now.
I'd give him it, honestly. I'd love it to be my guy Herb, but they have to win their division or at least be the wild card spot. And you don't even have them on Contender or Pretender. You're hurting my feelings.
You know why? Because I think they dropped off a Contender or Pretender.
Yeah, they did. You had them on there, I guarantee you. Then you dropped them.
The deserve to be more on the Contender Pretender.
Stop it. I know. But we'd both say Pretender. We'd both say Pretender, so there's no point.
I'm pretty sure I said Pretender last time when we played 6 weeks ago. So I'm going to agree on that.
I think the Chargers can turn it around. They are the AFC big salad team.
Turn the beat around. You got to turn the team around sometimes.
True, but I still stand by what they say. That offense isn't run right for Herbert. Hurts him.
So, all right. We got 2 more headlines here for you.
Did you? Oh yeah, you said Patriots. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So this week it's Conference Championship week in NCAA football. Here's the rundown of the games. Friday night, Utah, Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. Saturday, starting at noon, Oklahoma State, Baylor in the Big 12 championship. San Diego State and Utah State in the Mountain West championship. Louisiana and Appalachian State. Don't think this is going to change really much, but Sun Belt championship. At 4 o'clock. This is the big one here. Georgia, Alabama in the SEC championship. Then Cincinnati, Houston in the American Athletic Conference championship. At night, it's the Big Ten, Michigan, Iowa, and Pittsburgh, Wake Forest in the ACC championship.
Go Kenny Pickett, future Steeler.
Which conference championship game will have the largest impact on the college football playoff rankings?
There's a very simple answer here, and it's very obvious. It's the Sun Belt. So you see Louisiana. I'm kidding. It took you a moment to register what I was saying.
Well, their coach just left for Florida.
Really?
Louisiana. So hopefully he's still there for the
interesting.
championship.
Yeah, but really the simple answer is obviously SEC. Because if Alabama wins, then boom, they're the number 1, and Georgia's now the 2, and that could end us with a Georgia-Alabama national title. Georgia wins, we might potentially get a really fun national championship game. So go Georgia. Give us a fun national title game. I want that Cincinnati, Georgia. I want that Michigan, Georgia. I'll even take Oklahoma State, Georgia. Notre Dame, Georgia's a little boring. But really, ideally, it's Cincinnati, Georgia or Michigan, Georgia. But I don't think it's possible to get Oklahoma State, Georgia. But something Georgia, because I feel like they're going to win. So, we can get really friggin' weird. Oklahoma State, Michigan. Oklahoma State, Cincinnati. That's fun.
Cincinnati, Notre Dame rematch.
Oh, yeah. That'd be fun, too.
Crazy.
That'd be fun, too. But I'm saying it's the SEC.
I'm actually going to side the Big 12 here right now.
Really?
You want to know why? It's because Oklahoma State's on the outside looking in. They just were ranked 5th in tonight's rankings. And to go over real quick here, the rankings revealed. Top 11 coming up just because my team's 11. Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Baylor, Oregon, and Michigan State right at the top 11 right there. And the reason I'm going to say is this. What is the committee going to value here? Is it going to value, if Oklahoma State wins, let's just say hypothetically, Alabama upsets Georgia. What happens in there? Oklahoma State just got 2 big wins over Oklahoma and Baylor. Are you going to disrespect those wins just because of that? Or how does that work? How do you factor Cincinnati? Cincinnati's undefeated. They should still be in, especially if they get a win against the ranked Houston team. I think it calls for an interesting matchup for what happens with Oklahoma State.
It's really the Oklahoma State-Michigan battle then, honestly, because they're probably going to kick out. But they're not going to kick out Michigan
because if they win. I think it's basically here's how it is. If you're in the top 4, except for Alabama, well, obviously, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should correct myself. Except for Georgia. If you win, you're you're in, but if you lose, you're probably in as well. You're probably going to get the 4th seed.
Georgia's probably making it.
So, but if you look at the other 3 in the top 4, it's you win, you're in. Michigan, you win, you're in. Cincinnati, you win, you're in. Alabama, you win, you're in. So, it's going to rely on what Ryan's pick. If Georgia beats Alabama, that opens up a spot for Oklahoma State. Now, things can get funky if Oklahoma State loses in addition to Alabama, because then Notre Dame can sneak in there and take that
I
spot.
don't want that.
So I'm just telling you, it can be weird. It can happen with that independent. So, all right. Speaking of Notre Dame, last headline here, and there's a side headline to this one as well. This Sunday coming up, Fox Sports 1. Tune into your TVs on that time, noon. The UConn Notre Dame college women's basketball rivalry is coming back. And Ryan, do you have a prediction for that game on Sunday?
I'm going to go chalk, go safe bet, UConn. Got the best player in the country, Paige Beckers. StockX superstar.
And let's talk about the big headline about her as the first collegiate player to sign an NIL deal with Gatorade.
She's with Gatorade now,
She's
too?
with Gatorade.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yep.
so she's bringing in the millions
She
right
deserves
now.
it. She deserves it. You know,
She
if
was
they had
Gatorade
that,
player of the year when she was in high school.
if Suggs was still in college, her and Suggs would be on every Gatorade ad.
I agree.
Because they were friends in high school.
I always thought they were going to get together.
Yeah, me too. But whatever.
But maybe not.
I guess we're not in charge of that.
I don't know.
That's one of the few things we're not in charge of.
Yeah. I don't know who's.
We'll go apply for that. We'll go apply for that Oklahoma coaching job. But I'm not going to get involved in Jalen Suggs' love life, all right?
Or Paige Beckers.
Or Paige Beckers. Orlando to UConn is a long drive, a long flight. I understand. It's fine.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna take the Huskies here too. Notre Dame, Maya Dotson is their leading scorer right now, and they have another Mabry sister, which is a 3-point specialist. But let's remember this rivalry has evolved because it used to be Muffet McGraw coaching the Fighting Irish against Gino Auriemma coaching the Huskies, and now that Muffet has retired and Niele Ivy has taken over the Fighting Irish. They've taken a dip. They've taken a dip in their caliber, so it'll be interesting to see. And I'm going to confirm this real quick, but I'm pretty sure it is at Stores, and yes, it is. It is at UConn. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. And let's remember, UConn's coming off a blowout loss to South Carolina, in which they blew. And Notre Dame came off a big win over Oregon State. So that'll be interesting to see how this game is played. So, enough headlines. It's time to move on to Ryan's game. Woo! Contender or Pretender. And these are all in the NFL. And up first, the Tennessee Titans.
Pretender, without King Henry. Don't think they're going to be able to make it. I mean, honestly, those Colts making a bit of a run for them. And even if they do make the playoff, like the Titans, I mean, they're probably going to have to play a team like, I don't know, the Bills or who else would be like a spot like that they'd have to play, like a wild card AFC spot. The Bengals, team with a big offense like that, I don't think that defense is stopping them. I mean, the defense did look good 2 weeks ago. Didn't look the best against the Patriots. So, honestly, Pretender. They lost their king.
Excuse me.
Heavy is the head that bears the crown.
Yes. I agree. They're a pretender as well. I know Derrick Henry has equal to no success for the Tennessee Titans. They lost to the Texans, embarrassingly, to say the least, there with the Texans. I'm going to say that they have lost just back to back here. They lost to the Texans and the Patriots, but they got the Jags coming up. They should beat the Jags, and then they head to Pittsburgh, which I will be there for that game, and then Niners, Dolphins, Texans. So really, they have 4 winnable games left at least. I mean,
they might lose those Niners though. Niners making a good run.
They
They'd probably lose the
that,
Dolphins maybe too.
That's
Dolphins making a run.
The stretch they have that's tight is the Steelers, Niners, Dolphins. They could drop one of those.
They could probably drop 2 of those.
They could, but I don't know. We'll just see what happens. All right, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They got Tom Brady, contender.
I'm not saying they're a contender. I don't want to say they're a pretender right now. I think they're in the middle because I think they can get hot anytime like this. Last year, this was at the point where
this year, we were talking about them not even making the playoffs.
Right, and then they got hot right now.
They got hot right after beating Tyler Heineke.
After losing Kansas City, they got hot.
I'm saying they played Taylor Heineke in the wild card, and they were like, all right, boys, we got through Taylor. We can do it.
That's right. They got even hotter.
They were like, if we can beat Washington, we can beat anybody. That's what they said in the locker room, guaranteed.
Problem is, I think, is that their defense has been sketchier this year than last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know where they're at. But for right now, I'm going to side with a pretender at the moment. So I don't care if they have the Golden Boy or not. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals. Ryan.
See, this is the one I'm in between on. Because some weeks they look like a contender, other weeks look like a pretender, kind of like the Chargers like that, where they're in between. But honestly, I got to go contender. I think they're really cooking right now, and I think the defense looks good. The offense is, I was just watching them the other day. It hit me. I was like, crap, they got a good receiving core. Jamar's awesome. Boyd's really good in the slot. And Higgins can go deep too. They got a nice receiving core there. The tight end, I can't even name him because he's not the best, but I think they're using him more as a blocker, and they just run the wide receivers. Joe Mixon's finally looking really good, so this team's rolling. So I'm going to say contender. You're going to say pretender, though I know you are.
The reason I'm going to say pretender as well, I went for 3 straight pretenders here on this one. Inconsistent play out of the Bengals right now. They destroy the Ravens that 1 week, and then they turn around, and then they lose to the Jets. So that's my problem.
They're
haven't seen them.
inconsistent.
They came inconsistent. They got destroyed by the Browns, an injury-riddled Browns team. They have another, but they have, guess what? They got 3 weeks. They got 5 tough games. 6 tough games to end the year. They are favored in these 2 that are coming up right now on the line. They host the Chargers, host the 49ers, go to the Broncos, host the Ravens, host the Chiefs, and then go to the Browns. So 4 home games left. They have that could help them favor, but it's going to be a tough sled in there to end the season. All right, what about San Francisco 49ers, Ryan? Contender or pretender there?
I'm going to say pretender. It's a little too late in that NFC. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they can get through a Packers or a Rams, or maybe they could get through the Cardinals. They could make a run in the playoffs. They're one of those teams, we know Shanahan's got the coaching in him, and they could do something there. But honestly, I love what they're doing with Debo, but I'm ready. They need to get Trey Lance ready in there because that's what makes this team a contender, is having him be the explosive quarterback. Garoppolo is a really good, solid quarterback that can get to a Super Bowl, but I don't think you're ever going to win one with him. So unless your team's really cooking like it was in 2019. And Nick Bosa is not 2019 Nick Bosa at the moment. That defense is not on that level. It's the offense that's doing really well right now with Mitchell and Debo. And Debo's been crazy.
And he's out.
Exactly. So I think it's a little too late. I think they might make the playoffs, but I don't think they're getting to the Super Bowl or winning it. So pretender.
Pretender as well. 49ers, the running has been well. Schedule is favorable for them to end. They got to play the Seahawks and the Falcons. And the Texans, so that could be a possible 3 wins. So, but they could top out only at 9-8, and that leaves them maybe out of the playoffs possibly. So that's why I'm going to go with the pretender. All right, your team, the New England Patriots. It starts with the season.
My team,
a tender. So
it's contender. They're a contender. This team's been incredible the last 5 weeks. They've been absolutely cooking, as I say a lot, but it's true. Belichick's found that magic, Michael's magic stuff from Space Jam and given Mac Jones a big sip. I don't care that it's just water, it's working. So I think they're a contender, and honestly, this is a big threat. They got a good running game, they got a good defense, and if Mac Jones keeps improving, he's improved every freaking week, he keeps improving, holy crap, by playoff time, he's going to be incredible. So this team's really doing well. I like what they got going on.
Yeah, Mac Jones right now is hitting 79% of his passes, which is a very high clip about what he hit at Alabama. And so right now, the Patriots are in their toughest stretch they have of the season right now. And they started it last week, this 4-game stretch. They already beat the Titans.
Yep.
They go at the Bills, at the Colts, host the Bills, and then they finish up with the Jags and the Dolphins. So this is where they're going to prove. If they can prove they can win
if they beat the Bills twice, boom, contender.
They are definitely a contender. And I'm going to put them a contender right now anyway. So, right now, Buffalo's favored. They're the Monday night game coming up this week. Buffalo is favored by 2.5 currently in that game. So, there you go.
Buffalo has no running game. And plus, Allen has been a mega disappointment this year. He was better last year.
Mega disappointment.
He has been. We all expect him to be not we all. Every article we read was Josh Allen MVP, Bills Super Bowl. And I was like, I'm not so sure about crowning them the Super Bowl champions yet. Guess what?
I didn't crown them a Super Bowl, but I put them in my Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm saying everybody had crowned them AFC champions.
I did crown them as the Super Bowl.
I think you did.
I did.
Yeah.
They could still.
They could still turn it around, but I think this team's better last year.
Turn it around.
I think the Chiefs are having a down year, and the Chiefs are still better.
Yeah.
I
We'll
think
see.
so.
They still gotta play each
Mahomes
other,
is the best
right?
quarterback in the league easily.
gotta play each other,
So,
right?
yeah, they do.
No, they already played.
Okay, and Bills beat them, remember? Because that was when it was really bad for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But Chiefs, I still believe they're having a down year. I don't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. But watch, playoff time comes, and I'm just going to fall for my boy Mahomes boy and just put him in there. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Right back in love again.
I'm trying.
That's gonna be.
I still love him. Just right now we're on a little bit of a break because he's taking time for himself.
a little break.
He's taking time for himself to get things together with the team. Okay.
see.
Yeah. So, but point is. And Cam Newton's really disappointed me a little bit. They're still my three favorite quarterbacks. It's just I don't know who my definite favorite is. It's tough. But so Mahomes and that team's having a down year. I don't think they're going to be in the Super Bowl.
Hey.
But just wait, we're going to see.
You didn't even have the Chiefs on this list, and you brought them right in.
I had to bring them up somehow. Quinn.
No.
I had to.
We cut them out for a reason. Talked about them last time.
Fine.
How about the Cowgirls? Your Cowgirls there.
They can't.
How about them Cowboys?
They can't beat the Chiefs. All right, Cowboys Pretender. Classic Cowboy BS. After week 12, write them off. They're losing. They suck.
I think
they suck after
week
week 12.
Are pretenders, and especially it's looking ugly for them.
It's bad.
Let's remember they have back-to-back Thursday night games because they played on Thanksgiving, but it's still kind of a normal week because they play on Thursday night this week. So, but guess what? Mike McCarthy out, COVID. A lot of people out for COVID this week. They're down. Cooper injured.
The cursed
CD
Cowgirls.
injured.
The cursed Cowgirls.
It's bad. And they, this week, I believe, are playing the Saints. So that could be a win for the Saints. They are in New Orleans. They're favored by 4.5 right now, the Cowboys are, but I don't see them winning that game. All right, Buffalo Bills.
I'm going to say Pretender. I don't think they got it in the tank. I mean, they might play the Chiefs round 1, and that'll be a really tough game. I think the Chiefs win that, though. I mean, really, the team I really like in the AFC right now.
It's not possible.
They're going
to be playing the Titans. If anything into today.
But right now, the teams I really like in the AFC for Super Bowl are Ravens and Patriots. Really, everybody else, I think, fails in comparison to those two. The Ravens are the, essentially Golden State Warriors argument where they just have that one awesome player that's getting them to that level. Patriots just all around a good team. I mean, I love the Chiefs, but I have to see more. I have to see more to believe in them yet.
They are the 4 seed. They could get beat by the Bengals team.
Oh, yeah, maybe. We'll have to see what happens here. But Bills are a pretender to me. I don't think they're better than the top teams in the AFC, so pretender.
The only reason I'm going to go with contender here is it all is on Josh Allen. If Josh Allen plays well, he's going to lead them to greatness. But if he doesn't, it's awful. Sorry to break your heart, Chad Hobbs. But that's where the Bills are at for now. So I'm gonna put them in the contender still, just like I know I already put them in the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl earlier this year because I did believe in Josh Allen. And the defense was better. Defense got scourged. They got scorched by the Colts. So we're going to see if the Bills can turn it around against they got the Patriots this week. They already turned it around against the Saints last week a little bit, though they got a tougher match with the Patriots, and Belichick will have an ace defensive plan to come out. All right, after last night, Washington football team for our last one.
I want to make him a contender so bad. I really do.
They just entered the playoff conversation.
I really like this team. But the thing is, Chase Young's out. And I like Heineke a lot. I really love what he's doing over there, but I don't really think they're going to be a contender with that. The defense is weaker, but I mean, the offense I think is better than it was last year. Heineke's really coming into his own over there. I mean, Terry McLaurin's still scary Terry. Well, that's Terry Rozier's nickname for the Celtics. But now Rozier's on the Hornets. That's a fun team, most watchable easily. But I can't wait to do my new most watchables. I got to get that done. But I'll probably do one of those soon. You'll be listening to that one?
What?
Y'all listen to the new episode of Sports Podcast when it comes out?
Yeah, it's got to come out, though. That's
true.
The problem.
It will. Well, I'm so busy at the moment, so I got a lot going on.
Yeah, I know you do now. B-ball.
Yeah, exactly. But point is, I want to make them a contender. The offense is better, but until I see more of the defense, they're a pretender. I'm really sorry.
They're a pretender as well, but they have a favorable schedule to make it to the playoffs here, and they can go 4-2.
Oh, they're definitely making the playoffs, I think.
They gotta go at Raiders, host Cowboys, at Eagles, at Cowboys, host Eagles, at Giants, excuse me.
Screw the playoffs. They might flat out win the NFC East.
They could go 4-2, 5-1 and win the AFC East. I mean, the Eagles, they stumbled this week. It's a possibility. So I'll be interested.
I really like that Eagles team. I think next year they win that division and they're a Super Bowl contender. I really like
Super Bowl contender, but we'll see.
I really like that Eagles team with Hurts and Smith. They're nice.
I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think everybody underestimated him.
Yep.
So. All right, we're on to Ryan's special section, and I believe we already heard the leakage part of the first one.
The leakage, yes.
So that was part 1. Here's part 2 and 3 of the special section.
So while I was on that article on, it was SB Nation that was about Lincoln Riley, I saw some other articles that popped up, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it was on Banner Society, which is their college football affiliate. And they just had something that was basically talking about all the mascots in college football for any division. There are 64 plain eagles. So that's like red eagles, screaming eagles, etc.
No, I think it's just plain eagles because that says plus red eagles. So I think there's more than that.
Oh, crap. Never mind. Yeah. There are 64 just eagles. So, like Georgia Southern Eagles, Hines Eagles, Illinois Valley Eagles, Judson College Eagles. 18 schools that call themselves Golden Eagles. So, yeah, there's a lot. They have an entire March Madness bracket of teams named Eagles. In my opinion, Philadelphia should win, but they're not a college team, so that sucks.
Right.
I'm just kidding. What's a fun one here? The Coastal Alabama CC Eagles.
How about this one right here? Lock Haven Bald Eagles, same mascot as America. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like the West Coast Baptist Eagles. Those Eagles are Baptists.
Yes. Well, there's also the Williams Baptist, so they should be playing.
Oh, yeah. That's the national championship right there. Williams Baptist Eagles versus West Coast Baptist Eagles. They're going to do a big tournament. The winner gets to be the king of the Eagles. But there's 53 playing Tigers, go Tigers, but 52 playing Cougars, and but there's also Panthers, which are literally the same as Cougars. So then there's 50 playing Bulldogs, which makes sense. Then there's 42 playing Panthers, 41 Wildcats, 40 playing Lions, 35 Pioneers. That's high for Pioneers. Come on. 33 Knights, 33 Warriors, 29 Hawks, 28 Bears, 26 Falcons. So there's all these schools, and they're basically proposing that they should each have a unique name. But yeah, there's an entire list here of every college and what their mascot is. So that's pretty cool. It's on Banner Society. It's called Make Every College Have a Totally Unique Nickname. I just think it's interesting that Eagles is the most nickname out of any college. It's the most nicknamed. And then Tigers, Cougars. I felt like Cougars would probably be lower than Panthers or Wildcats, but Cougars is third, so I was pretty surprised it's above Bulldogs. I feel like you hear a lot of Bulldogs. But, yeah, so that's interesting. Not a lot of teams are called the Crimson Tide, I guess, so that's disappointing. I'm just kidding. Then there's another thing, which was I was thinking about recruiting, right? I was looking at the Arch Manning stuff and all that, right, and the Malachi Nelson. What state, Quinn, do you think puts out the most 5-star recruits?
Well, I think it just showed me on that map.
No, that was a different one.
Okay.
That was a different thing.
I think it's going to be... Ooh, I got to flip it. It's either going to be Texas or Florida. Ooh.
The answer is Florida. Mm-hmm. Florida puts out the most 5-star recruits in 2017. That was just, 2017 they put out the most. So overall, it is Texas and Florida who put out the most. Okay. But in general, here's what's interesting. So here's the states with the highest percent of high school football players recruited by a D1 school. Number 1 is Florida. Number 2 is Georgia. Number 3 is Louisiana. Then it goes D.C. I'm trying to think what. Maryland, thank you. Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. Granted, though, the percent is also effed up because Texas has so many people in it.
Well, yes.
So that kind of...
Do you think that's why I knew it had to be a bigger state, because it's either going to be California. That most of the United States population lives in either California, Texas,
New York, or Florida. Yep. So per capita, here blue chip football recruits per capita. So that would just be, it's basically blue chips are the annual average from 2015 to 19. So this is what this is. So Wyoming has 0. Vermont has 0. North Dakota has 0. New Hampshire has 0. Montana has 0. Maine and Alaska also have 0. One of the highest is North Carolina, 11.6 blue chip recruits per capita. California is one of the highest at 44. Texas at 47.6. And then Florida the highest at 49.8. Georgia's also 34.6. The state of Ohio, which we live in, is 14, so pretty middle of the road.
Yeah.
Not awful. So, yeah, I think it's very interesting. Really, your best places to recruit are very obviously Texas, Georgia, Louisiana. That south, Gulf of Mexico area right there is really your best spot. And you might be able to pick up some people in California and maybe the Carolinas. But overall, go down there and Texas.
South.
Yeah,
I
south.
think it's the South and the lower Midwest.
Yep.
Ohio, Michigan.
What's very interesting is no 5 stars from California. California had in 2017 a couple 5-star recruits. Washington State the state of Washington had 1. Then there's nobody. You go east, there's nobody from California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, all the way to the tip of Tennessee. There's a 5-star recruit in 2017. So really in that big area, the central part of the United States.
Yes, Central Plains in the middle.
Yeah, Central Plains.
West.
Like North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Colorado, all them. Not a lot of huge 5-star recruits coming out of there. So that's very interesting, and that's where you see a lot of FCS teams, so that makes sense. So, yeah, some interesting college football stats for you.
I like the interesting numbers.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Time to get happy, people. You're already happy for Happy Hanukkah, but happy 33rd birthday yesterday, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, who came out of college first at NC State and then transferred over to Wisconsin to beat my Sparty team in the first ever Big Ten championship game for football. He was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in 2012 and appeared in Super Bowls in his second and third seasons and won one over the Denver Broncos. But one can only think that Russell Wilson's legacy has been impacted by 2 things. First, impacted by his loss to the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl after they chose to run play action instead of handing the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. And then also the possibility of him being a full-time 2-sport athlete, because Russell Wilson was also drafted in the Major League Baseball draft a couple of times, and it gives me reminisce of Deion Sanders, one of the last full-time, or one of the last full-time.
He could definitely do
athletes.
He could 100% do it. You just choose not to, which I understand, especially in this modern age. Guys doing this year-round anymore. Thing is, with Russ, he did obviously not have a very good birthday yesterday, losing to WFT and pretty much guaranteeing the fact that the Seahawks are going to have one of the worst records in the league. I still think he's hurt, though. I think next year the Seahawks could bounce back, but they're honestly not looking the best. The defense isn't there. I mean, really, other than DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett.
Wilson might still want out after he wanted to be out last summer.
I mean, other than DK Metcalf, Lockett, and Wilson, what else do you have on that team? I mean, you got Jamal Adams. That's it.
That's it.
Nothing different. So, really, yeah. I don't know what happens. Maybe Wilson's the next guy to go. Maybe him and Rodgers both get moved this year. I don't think they'd swap them, but I feel like they might both get moved. Russell Wilson to Washington football team would be pretty freaking awesome, just saying. They'd definitely be they'd be back-to-back Big Salad team of the year. Easily.
But I like Heineke. Let's keep Heineke.
True, I like Heineke too.
Oh,
Former Panther.
Excuse me. Happy anniversary, Al Michaels. Last Wednesday, 51 years ago, the young Al Michaels at age 26 was hired by my Cincinnati Reds as the lead announcer for the team's radio broadcast as he got into sports broadcasting. He called games alongside Reds Hall of Famer Joe Nuxhall, who was the youngest player ever to play in the MLB. He started when he was drafted at age 15, I believe, and started playing at age 16. And for 3 seasons from 1971 to 1973. Anything to say about the Queen City there? Or Al Michaels?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know he started with the Reds, so that's very interesting. I mean, obviously, he's the big guy on NBC and everything, and he does a great job on Sunday Night Football. So I really enjoy having Al Michaels. I think he's a good commentator.
Yes, I've enjoyed Al Michaels too there, and also when he did Monday Night Football back in the day when he was on ABC. And a melancholy trails to Lee Elder, who passed away this past Sunday at 87 years old. Lee Elder was the first black golfer to play in the Masters tournament at age 41 in 1975, the first African American. He went to win 4 tournaments in the PGA Tour over his career and was part of an American winning Ryder Cup team in 1979. He was the first African American to play for the United States in the Ryder Cup. This past year, he was invited back and got to participate in the ceremonial first tee shot for for the Masters, which happens annually before the Masters kicks off with Hall of Famers there. You're going to have to do a little history lesson there on Lee Elder.
I know. I always enjoy the history lessons, and obviously a rest in peace to Lee Elder. But yeah, I really enjoy bringing up all these people and researching them. It's very interesting. So get to bring up a lot of people you didn't really know about as much before. You know what I mean? People that aren't always in the biggest part of the biggest part of the sports world. I guess I'm saying.
Yes.
Not in the big money sports, and obviously in a very important culturally in the golf community, and so that's very important guy right there that a lot of people wouldn't know.
Yes, and I do want to just confirm that Joe Nuxhall did play at 15 for the Cincinnati Reds, and that was right after D-Day on June 10th, 1944. And then he also was drafted into the war immediately after starting, being debuted there. All right, it's time for the picks this week, the big finish. You ready to close it out?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go. In the NFL, Week 13 this week, Saints versus Cowboys.
Gonna go Saints. I think they're gonna get a win and make my math teacher mad because he hates them when the Saints do well because he thinks they should be tanking, and I agree.
Ooh. And I'm going to go with the Saints as well because the Cowboys are COVID. They're crazy. They're in the COVID crazy. So they have nobody.
The cursed
They got
Cowgirls.
nobody to play right now. So Bengals versus Chargers.
This hurts me. You know it does. I don't want to go against the Chargers, but the Bengals been rolling. I'll go Bengals.
I'm going to go Chargers. I think they'll get a big win.
Crap. Now I'm going to be upset either way because it's either my pick's wrong or my heart's wrong.
Right, there you go.
I want the Chargers to win.
Dolphins versus Giants.
I'm going to go Dolphins here. They're rolling.
Yeah, Dolphins are rolling. I'm picking them. Raiders football team.
I'm going to take WFT.
I'm going to go with you as well. I think Waller's still going to be out, so that's going to help out the football team. They go on those long drives to close out games. Chiefs versus Broncos.
Shut up all the Broncos crap.
Night.
Yes, I think it is. Shut up all the Broncos crap. Chiefs. My homeboys.
I'm not going to question the Chiefs on this one. I think they're going to take the win right there. And that's it for the big finish. Just want to update you. We tied last week, 4-3.
Wow. So what's the overall records?
I'm still holding out just minuscule. I'm still 4 games ahead of you.
Interesting. So now I think we only disagreed on one right there, and it was the Chargers-Bengals game.
It was. So we could have mirrored records.
Oh crap! I don't want. See, that's the thing is I want the Bengals to lose. I want the Chargers to win. It's okay. Not, I feel like I have to go with the Bengals.
So after last week, 4-3 is where we went, and I'm just going to pull it up last week just to tell you what games we did because we always reminisce about what games we've picked. And yes, so we both got the Bucks right. I took the Raiders. We both took the Bills.
Both took Bills over Saints.
You took the Bengals. You took the Patriots.
Yep.
I took the Packers. And we both took the Browns.
We both took the Browns for some reason.
Yes, I don't know why we did that. I don't know.
I don't know. The Ohio one in us sometimes comes out and we pick Browns.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I knew I should pick the Ravens, but I didn't. So but anyway, yes. So 4-3. So right now, overall records for the season right now, I'm 25-19. Ryan 23-21. For the longest time, Ryan was underwater until 2 weeks ago when he went 5-1. So I got him out of the hole.
Wait, when was that? What was that? What did I predict?
That was 11-15. So that is you destroyed me because I'm pretty sure I went 3-3 that.
Yeah, that week was the week that saved me.
Yeah, 11-15. We did not do well that week. Free Halloween 10-25. I don't know why we didn't. But 11,
where's the 11-15 one? That would be interesting.
Look at that. I got multiple folders here just to go through here. Really fancy. Well, it's my OCD. But anyway, so here, let's see. All right, 49ers, Rams.
I took Rams, which was right.
And then Chargers, Steelers.
I took Chargers, and you took Steelers.
Eagles, Saints. You took Eagles.
Yep.
And then Raiders, Bengals.
I took Bengals, right?
Yeah, I took Raiders. And then Chiefs, Cowboys. We both took Cowboys.
That was my loss.
Seahawks, Cardinals. We both took the Cardinals there.
Wow.
I don't know how I went 3-3 then. We both took the 49ers. No, we both took the 49ers because the 49ers were up at half.
We can't take 49ers. I didn't take 49ers. I thought the Rams would come back, and they did, right? Because Maybe I did take the Niners because I
I
only
think
lost one. I only lost one, and we know it was the Cowboys game because I remember I said I didn't want to take Cowgirl,
Yeah,
but
so
I
you
did.
had to take the. So you took 49ers, Chargers, Eagles, Raiders, Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's how it went. And I took 49ers, Steelers, Saints,
Raiders, Chiefs.
Raiders. No, Cowboys,
You took Cowboys too.
and Cardinals. Somehow I picked another winner here. So I think I sided with the Bengals too. That must be what I did.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
there you go on that one. So yeah, so right now 25-19, 23-21. Now as we start to get to the end of this month, see us when we get to about probably about January 3rd. I think we'll probably be transitioning closer to college basketball. We start doing picks. So just
So we won't pick the playoff games.
we'll be picking the playoff games, but remember, there's only going to be 3 of those. I mean, there'll be 6 of those. So let's just say, the NFL, we don't get done until this week. So after, we're going to say Martin Luther King Day weekend, that's where our kickoff is going to be going more towards college. Well,
we'll cover the Super Bowl and all that. So we're just going to be doing. Essentially, our college football coverage will be replaced by basketball.
yes, and we're doing.
And then
something.
NBA is more my show anyway, so you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. So there we go. We will just get some big headlines in the NBA over here. So all right, that's it. You got a quick shout out.
Oh, I always do. There was one thing I didn't really mention in the special section because I'm going to talk about more on my own podcast, which was I actually had a pretty big weekend of movies. I went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in theaters. Thought it was pretty all right. It's more of an action comedy than the first one. Obviously, the first one was a comedy with action. This one is more of an action with comedy.
Okay.
Well, there's a difference.
I hear you.
Like, Ghostbusters
Are
one.
they both still labeled action comedies, though?
One of them's a comedy with action. But yes, they're both labeled action comedies, even though they're not the same. So, point is that I think the first Ghostbusters is better, but this one was a pretty good time. I really liked it. But honestly, the best movie I watched this weekend, easily by a mile, is I probably watched my favorite DCEU movie. It's not that called anymore. I think it's the DC Worlds of DC is what they call this now. Basically, any DC movie since Man of Steel, obviously. I probably watched my favorite this weekend, which is The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn, the R-rated kind of comedy, action comedy. This is an action comedy. It was really everything I've ever wanted to see out of a Suicide Squad movie. I think it's definitely DC's best movie. It's very unique. They let James Gunn do whatever he wants. It's very comic booky. Like, they do costumes really well, and they shoot it like it's got amazing cinematography, which you don't always see out of an action movie. Mm-hmm. Love the way it was filmed. Very cleverly scripted. I'll do a big review on the Sort of Sports podcast. But honestly, that was like a 9 out of 10. Probably second or third best movie I've seen all year. Dune's obviously number 1. But yeah, when we get to the end of the year, I'm doing my top 5 movies of the year that came out in 2021.
Okay.
So really, it's probably going to be...
That's your special section already?
It's going to be that, or it's going to be on my podcast. So we want it too.
There we go.
I'll have to choose.
Ooh.
But the contenders.
He's got to keep us in suspense.
Yes, the contenders. I mean, that are coming up. Obviously, there's a lot of good contenders coming up because
We haven't even seen some.
Spider-Man: Far From Home is going to be. I'm going to probably love that, and then Matrix 4. So we've got 2 big contenders coming up.
Okay.
So I still haven't seen Eternals. I was going to see it, but then I was like, this really looks like one of the weakest Marvel movies they've ever made. And you know how I've been worried about Marvel movies becoming more samey,
Yes.
which is why I love Suicide Squad, because it was so out of left field. I really liked what it was doing. It was very unique. And I love John Cena in it. Who's so good. I mean, he confirmed the fact to me that he can be as big of an acting star as The Rock. He was so good in it. And he got his own TV show off of it. He was that good in it. But that comes out in January. I really loved him in it. Point is, I didn't even see Eternals yet. I'm probably going to go see it eventually. But I guarantee that won't be my top 5. I don't think I'm going to love that. So, yeah, point is, wrap things up. A big thank you. Oh, crap. To my guy, Michi Johnson. I love you, Michi Johnson. You're my favorite guy for Iowa State. I'm going to go watch your game. It starts in 12 minutes. It's 9:18. So, yeah, go Meech.
It's 9:30? I thought it was 9 o'clock.
I thought it was 9:30. You check.
I'm checking.
If the scores, if they've
talking about
already
Michi
scored, it's all right. My thing of Meech Johnson is comes in as a freshman, 17 years
It
old.
is 9:30. Confirmed.
17 years old because he made it so he went to high school. I mean, he left, whatever. He reclassified and all that. So he's probably gonna play at Ohio State because those guys with Holtman really like him. They like to stay a while, They take their jacket off, take the hat off, hang it up, stay a while. And I think Michi should stay there all 4 years. By the time he graduates, he'll probably be a lottery pick potentially. I think he's really got the talent there. I love Michi Johnson, what he's got going on. So thank you, Michi Johnson, for hitting that buzzer beater. You're a great player for Ohio State. You're always giving the effort, and he's come a long way defensively. Love watching Michi Johnson. If you watch Ohio State basketball, watch Michi. He's awesome. Zed Key's very good too.
Yes. I got a few plugs here. First off is next week for Jeopardy. We have the first tournament of the season this year. It's going to be the Jeopardy Professors Tournament. So that kicks off Monday, and Mayim Bialik is back at the podium replacing Ken Jennings for a couple weeks. And then also, I'm going to pitch this now because next Monday we'll be recording. Next Monday, season finale for Hoarders. Season 13 is coming to an end. A&E. Catch that there. And
I feel like it just started.
It's been 8 episodes. There's only 8.
Only 8?
Yeah, so it's been 2 months.
Yikes.
And my third plug here is, as I mentioned in the last episode or the one before, that the regular Law & Order is coming back. It's coming back for its 21st season, starting after the Olympics close out in February on NBC. And they've announced, in addition to Sam Waterston, who's believed to be on, is coming back. I don't know if he's either going to be executive ADA or DA, but Anthony Anderson is coming back as a detective. He closed out the last 2 seasons on Law & Order, so we'll see if there's any more people that'll come back from the original. I would like them to toy with the idea of bringing in Chris Noth back, because Chris Noth was very good in the first 5 seasons, and the only issue why he left because he didn't get as much money as he thought he deserved. So I'd be interested to see that. I'd be interested to see if Asapatha Murkerson will come back and replay her role as captain, as lieutenant, excuse me. So that's what I'm going to be interested to see, if they pull any more of those original characters back or just replace them with new ones. So also right now, the Big Ten just went up 3-0 in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, and right now they might go up 4-0. Overtime right now, it's 97 tie with 40 seconds to go. Indiana, Syracuse. Let's see if there's an end to that game right now. And right now there's a timeout, 9 seconds to go. So go catch that on ESPN2 for the result, because you're not going to be watching it now after I'm done talking. Thank you, and happy Hanukkah! This is Quinn Maseko speaking for the Big Salad Podcast, a Ryan Klinger production. Please note that portions of this podcast were edited before the final cut was produced, and this episode was recorded on November 30th. The sections of Happy Time and The Big Finish are copied from the ESPN show Pardon the Interruption, and there was no intention to infringe on copyrights of these segments and their related music. Stay tuned for our next podcast next Monday here on the Sorta Sports Podcast YouTube channel.